Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be presenting on Uber, the company Uber, and kind of for our change project, what Uber has to do with and the things that we decided that we should be able to change through this company. So, just a little bit about Uber's background. Uber is a global ride sharing and logistics company founded in 2009 and headquartered in San Francisco, California. Uber operates in over 70 countries and 10,000 cities, offering services such as UberX, Uber Eats, Uber Freight, and Uber for Business. The company employs approximately 30,000 corporate employees worldwide, with approximately 9 million drivers operating as independent contractors. And their purpose is to provide reliable, on demand transportation and delivery services through a mobile app. So, our focal problem is we wanted to increase driver dissatisfaction and turnover, meaning that we feel like a lot of the drivers are dissatisfied with how much money they're making or how they're being treated as Uber drivers. And so we kind of wanted to, decide how that would help us to, um, change this issue and make it so that it was something better. And so we think that like the top five issues with this is that they're not getting paid enough. There's longer wait times and higher surge pricing, so more Uber drivers are waiting around than they should be, which means that they're not making money. Two, there's lack of benefits, so like there's no health insurance, that kind of stuff for Uber drivers, meaning they're only going to make money through the dollars that they're actually driving. And honestly, nobody really wants to do a job like that. Three, there's low driver supply, so there's just not a bunch of drivers like helping out, and so the algorithm isn't very transparent. And so I think some of the Uber drivers feel like they are being gypped or not properly being taken care of in order to do their certain things. There's challenging work conditions, like no one wants to be in a car all day, so that leads to reduced service quality, and then lack of strategy. The surge pricing doesn't really make sense with Uber, and so that makes it so that a lot of people don't make a lot of money.
Hi, my name is Shelby, and I'm going to be talking about why this is an organizational behavior problem. Starting with the fact that this directly impacts our employees' attitude and motivation, which in turn is going to affect their job satisfaction and their overall commitment to the organization. Second, I want to talk about two theories that go into this, starting with the equity theory. Drivers are going to compare their input, which for them, in this case, would be time, fuel, so cost of gas, and their effort versus the output they're receiving, which in this case would be their pay. And they're going to perceive, is this fair? Second, I'm going to talk about the expectancy theory, which is if drivers don't believe effort equals fair reward, their performance over time is going to decline, which is going to hurt the organization. Some personal experiences that we have seen with the company have been drivers being very frustrated, and they're very public about this frustration. A lot of them say that they're easily replaceable, reducing loyalty overall to this organization. And then just explaining some key terms that we've talked about: turnover, drivers leaving the platform, algorithm, transparency is the clarity in how trips and pay are assigned, which has been a problem for Uber in the past. Okay, going into our desired future state. We want Uber to get to a place where their drivers feel fairly compensated, respected, and informed about how their trips and pay are going to be. And this is going to reduce turnover, become more stable of a place to work, and then reduce those wait times for drives. And this is also going to affect the loyalty, the higher service reliability, and brand reputation. And overall, this is important because the change is going to be worth it. And why is it going to be worth it? Because the drivers are the face of Uber. That is who represents them as a company in the biggest way.
Sweet. So the last thing I want to talk about is the four things that we're going to do, four goals that we have that are going to help to improve Uber overall as a company. These four goals are measurable and they're actionable goals, so that way we can track our progress as we're going throughout. So the first one is turn the current 40% turnover rate to 20%. So that means just retain way more of our employees. increase the satisfaction score from the 3.2% to 4.2%, and then achieve pay transparency. So that score is right now low. We want to make it high within 6 months. And so we want to do it on a way shorter time frame. That way we can make sure that everybody's bought into the compensation plan, how pay works, and that everybody in the company can be on the same page. That way, as we continue to level up and as the company continues to scale, we can keep that same transparency all the way through. And then the last one is decrease average wait times from an 8-minute wait time, which it's currently at, to a 5-minute wait time in the next 12 months. This will help out in tons of ways as far as improving customer satisfaction and then making sure that the employees are as busy as they can, obviously offering them the most amount of money. Like I said, these are time-based goals. The first one's 12 months, 9 months, 6 months, and 12 months. So we have time frames and we're able to track the progress as we go. Then we have 5 ways that we want to support our employees. The first one is leadership alignment. If your leaders aren't aligned with the employees, there becomes a disconnect. Obviously, you're not able to scale if there's a disconnect in pay and operations and whatever it is, so we want to be totally aligned with that. The second one is training. Micro trainings to make sure that they can make the most out of tips, to make sure that they are getting the best optimal feedback, to make sure that they are capitalizing on customer experience as well, is going to help them have a total better overall feel when they are going to work, and then obviously improve the retention. And then improved communication. So we want to make sure that the water's getting all the way to the end of the well or end of the rope. So that way all of them are able to understand changes being made and stay up to date with everything that's happening. And then the next one is technology support. So having different ways to use technology to improve their experience as the employees, to make them more effective and put more money in their pocket. Incentives ran from corporate that can be used to inspire them, help them get the most out of themselves. And then obviously friendly competition will improve work environment. And then dedicated resources. This is just going to be a way for HR to monitor what's happening so they can make last minute changes as needed and as directed, as they pop up. That way they're not sitting on the back burner.
Uber and described, what the future state will look like. My role is to go over the actions that we recommend for Uber to help the company move in the right direction. So as you can see here, the first action that we have is improving communication between Uber drivers through clear updates and more direct support. I've never personally driven for Uber, but I have a few friends that have, and some of the things that they tell me is that they feel like they're left in the dark, right? That they go and they do so much work, and they pick up people or they drive people long distances, and people don't tip them well and things like that. And so they just feel like Uber isn't appreciative of the things that they do. The second thing would be creating regular opportunities for drivers to share feedback and concerns. So kind of like what I was talking about, like my friends that go out and drive Uber, they don't really have a way to tell, the headquarters of Uber, hey, I don't like this, or will you change this, or things like that. And so something that they could implement is having a feedback section where drivers can go in there and comment, hey, I need this fixed, or, could you look into a suggestion for that? The next thing would be establishing recognition system to reward top performers and encourage drivers to excel in the job, right? I was always taught growing up that if you weren't improving in your, career or something that you're learning in, then you're digressing. And so I feel like a lot of people have that mentality as well. And so if you're not being rewarded, or there's no compensation or things like that for going out and doing your best or excelling, then what's the point, right? Next thing would be strengthen safety wellness resources to support drivers on and off the road. There's been many instances where Uber will have, stuff happen to the drivers or to the passengers. And so it'd be great to have that support system. So the plan that we have is updating communication channels, kind of like I talked about, just by having like a thing after each drive, a comment section that will go to Uber headquarters, and somebody will take time to review that and look at the comments from the driver as well as the passengers. And then begin monthly driver feedback report, same thing. At the end of each month, drivers can fill out a survey that says, things that Uber can improve on, or things that they wish Uber had to make their experience better. Long term, we can build out drivers reward and bonus programs. So if you do so many rides, or you know hit certain marks each month, there should be like a pay increase, or a bonus program. Like, hey, we'll give you a $25 gift card to McDonald's or something like that, because Uber does have Uber Eats as well. So there's just many things that they can throw in there and implement. And then the last thing would be expanding safety features and wellness support, like having a button that says like SOS, help me, or whenever they need help. So that's what our suggestions are for the action section.